Hey guys, in this edition of Beyond the Lecture, we'll discuss Norzick's Entitlement Theory and Rawls' theory of justice. So in an attempt to explain the workings on how wealth and possessions can be obtained and owned, Robert Norzick came up with the Entitlement Theory. Essentially, the Entitlement Theory covers three principles: the principle of acquisition, the principle of transfer, and the principle of rectification of justice. The principle of acquisition refers to how an individual first comes to own an item that had no prior ownership before. Here we are typically referring to untapped, undiscovered natural resources, which is difficult to come by these days. Which brings us then to the principle of transfer. Here it deals with how you can acquire holdings from another through various methods of exchange, evaluated in the same value. This pretty much mirrors the day-to-day business exchanges you see around you, regardless of size and volume. So whether you're exchanging a holding with another holding or using cash, the principle of transfer is in effect. Norzick says that unless an acquisition is done in accordance to principle 1 and 2, the acquisition is not right, it is not just, it is not legal, whichever word you fancy. This is what he meant with rectification of justice. So even when you're dealing with an item that was stolen or acquired illegally, you should still revert back to principles 1 and 2 to rectify or fix the acquisition process. So Norzick's entitlement theory is a good framework to understand how an individual or a business can thrive in a capitalist society, where you're free to make your own fortune as long as it is within legal means. John Rawls' theory of justice, however, looks more into the distribution of economic wealth and the liberties of freedom of an individual to pursue greater economic footing. To do this, he puts forth two basic principles. The first is that each person must be given an equal right to basic liberties, such as the right to vote, freedom of speech, freedom of personal properties, as well as the right to your own beliefs. The second principle, and this is interesting, is that according to Rawls, inequality is not such a bad thing, as long as they fulfill two things. Number one is that the greatest percentage of benefit should always go to the least advantaged segment of the population. For example, if you have two persons, one earning $30,000 a year and another earning $300,000 a year, a $3,000 pay rise would mean 10% for the person earning $30,000 and only 1% for the person earning $300,000. The inequality still exists, but at least the greater impact went to the lesser advantaged person. Number two, everyone must be afforded a fair chance in advancement opportunities, such as a better job, a better education, which hopefully leads you to a more advantageous position. Which, if you think about it, is in line with Rawls' first principle of basic liberties. Both theories, however, are not without its pros and cons, so for that part it's for you to research and study on your own. As always, make sure you do the necessary revision, and I will see you in class.